Right. Well, Gio.
Yep.
I know that you are a huge fan of Death Note.
Big time.
All right, awesome. Well, I got a surprise for you.
Really?
There is a live action movie coming out on Netflix.
Really?
And I got the trailer right here.
Let's do it.
All right, let's
We're
make it
reviewing
happen.
this? Let's make it happen,
Yeah,
Captain.
let's do it.
Let's go. Let's go. I like it.
All right.
All the people that make life miserable, make life dangerous.
Can you do me a favor? Pause that for a second.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Is that Light?
Light Yagami, yeah, and yeah, protagonist.
Why is he white?
Good question.
No. Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome back
to another episode of Scenic Views, Movie News. I'm Gio,
I'm Manny.
and what you look like matters?
Does it matter, Gio?
Okay, so I want you to imagine with me for a second. You're
Okay.
going into a movie theater.
All right, I'm there.
You're about to see Abraham Lincoln.
My favorite president. Perfect.
Okay,
Good so
awesome.
far. All right, awesome.
So you're with me. All right.
Okay.
We're walking in. Opening shot.
Okay.
Fade from black. Pan up as you hear the speech, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the Gettysburg Address.
great speech.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Pan
Okay.
up. And then playing Honest Abe, Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
Mm-hmm.
King Kong ain't got on me. Denzel Washington. Well, what's so bad about that?
Now I want you to imagine with me for a second. You're walking in.
Okay.
All right. This time we're going to the motherland.
Okay, motherland. Okay.
Motherland,
Okay,
Africa. All
Awesome,
right.
Awesome. Okay.
We're there.
Okay.
Now this movie has to do with gods.
Okay.
The gods of Africa.
Okay. So big deal.
Big
stakes.
deal,
Big
okay?
stakes. Okay. Cool.
All of a sudden you pan up and you see all of them on the mountaintop.
Okay.
White cast members playing them.
Now that sounds vaguely familiar. Did that happen?
What you look like matters.
I'd say it definitely does.
Listen, when Hollywood gives somebody like Shonda Rhimes, who by the way created Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, somebody who's notable,
Yeah.
but when she gets an award for something called colorblind casting,
I mean, that sounds a lot like getting an award for not being a jerk. You know what I mean?
hey, I mean, we know that normally you're a jerk, but today
Yeah.
you're not a jerk, so
here
here's
you
an
go.
award.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, it's
So clearly there's an issue going on in
yeah.
Hollywood.
An
now-
issue, and it's not just, it's an issue that's been going on for a long time too, man. It's
and that
like,
issue
yeah,
being,
being that representation isn't 100% in Hollywood, and it hasn't been for a long time.
why is that the case? Is there a double standard?
I would say so, man.
I mean,
Just-
gods of Egypt, Abraham Lincoln. Listen, we've got Idris Elba, who I want to be the next Bond. But there are a lot of regular folks out there that are like, wait a minute, Bond isn't black. Now, I'm not
yeah.
advocating a black Bond just for the sake of, but why not? We are more likely to see a female Bond before we'll see a black Bond.
Yeah, I believe that. Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, not to get into it, the question is, people will argue and fight. They don't want their Bond to be black.
Yeah.
But they will tell you, stop making it about race when we see a bunch of African gods played by a bunch of Caucasian people.
Yeah.
Going a step further, representation. It matters. And it's not happening in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, man. It's weird because I know one of the things you and me spoke about was that when you represent, other races and creeds in the movie, more people can connect to that movie, more people
Absolutely.
can relate to that movie.
Absolutely.
So you get more people watching your movie, so you get more people paying for your movie. So I don't understand. Like, the money's there for you, man. Like,
So growing up, I love comic books. I
Yeah.
love all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? But growing up, one of my two favorite characters in the X-Men world or in the Marvel universe was Black Panther, because I saw another hero at that time who wasn't white. They all looked the same.
Yeah.
Not that I was conscious of that. I was just like, oh, he looks more like me than
Then those
Captain
other guys,
America.
yeah.
And then Nightcrawler. And that's saying a lot because the guy is blue.
Yeah. So
All
you
right.
have to look for a blue guy for
To
representation.
represent exactly. And I think there's something powerful about seeing somebody of your race, your creed, even your gender representing you on the screen. Let's take Wonder Woman, for example. That movie did such a phenomenal job, and it's such a box office hit, and we know that DC got it right.
Yeah,
they did
absolutely.
something right.
Yeah.
They have started their trend over with the DCEU, and there's a model that they should follow.
Yeah.
Now, is this the first female-led movie ever? No, first female-led superhero. Not really, right? We've had Xena Warrior and all these things. We've had that.
Yeah.
But done like this on the big screen.
No, not as
and this,
successfully as we've
not
had,
like
man.
this. And that mattered. I have nieces, cousins, aunts who went to see that movie in droves because it was something about seeing a female-led character take on the world, take on an issue, the protagonist take on an issue without having a female there that's only what's the word? A damsel in distress,
Yeah.
or having a prince save her. Okay, we get that. Those stories are good, but that's not every female character. There are some strong female characters out there, like Moana being the most recent one, that didn't need a prince to save her. That she could learn her story, she can learn her arc, she can go through her struggles and her and learn her lesson without needing a male figure that kind of like the point you brought up with The Last Samurai or
The Last
even The Great
Samurai,
Wall.
yeah, you know what
Do
I
we
mean?
need these white guys like to? And again, that's not taken away from Tom Cruise or Matt Damon, phenomenal actors. But
Yeah.
are we not trusting that a movie could be carried solely by the source material in Asia, Great Wall,
And,
Samurai?
I feel like when you don't do that, when you don't have representation in your movies, it takes away from the integrity of the movie, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna give me a movie about gods of Egypt in Africa, and all of them are white. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it almost makes it sound like you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, let's even go back to what even got this episode started and what really gave me the idea that just that extra push, that oomph. Death Note. I love Death Note. I have a friend who put me on the Death Note, and the show is awesome. And it put me into the manga, however you say it. And that's awesome. It's awesome. No, but the source material, the story arc, being drenched in Japanese culture, all that is great. So then when Netflix is showing me that they want to bring it to Seattle and it's a white guy, and hey, we're gonna diversify it because Elle is gonna be played by a black guy.
Yeah.
That you're not doing anything there.
You're
I want to see the original. Even Kira, the name Kira comes from, if I'm not mistaken, the fact that Japanese people don't know how to pronounce their L's. They pronounce them like R's. So
Yeah.
Kira,
Kira.
like
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, that's where it came from. Correct me if I'm wrong
On
in the
top
comments.
of the fact
but
that, like, Ryuk is, what is he? He's a god of death or something like
he's
that?
an Asian god.
Exactly. Like,
He's
you
an
know
Asian
what I
god.
mean?
This
So
all takes place in Asian culture.
So you're gonna now you have Ryuk, a god of death, in Seattle. You know what I mean? From Asia, in Seattle.
He's
And
over.
it makes
He's
no
overstepping
sense, man.
his
Yeah.
cultural bounds of people.
Which
that
is
he's
why we
supposed to be.
say, the integrity of the story, man.
Right,
Like
right.
right now, it looks like somebody saw Death Note, didn't really understand it 100%, liked the concept, and tried to make their own version of it.
Let's
And
let's
that's
let's
what
let's
I'm messing with.
Americanize it. And you know what? Listen, I have an issue with that because I don't mind Americanizing things, but let's give the source material some credit. I think it
Yeah.
could stand on its own. All right, just like we'll say, not every Hispanic or black person needs to play a thug in a movie. Not every white person needs to be the hero. Now, I know this seems like it's about a race, but it's not. What ultimately what we're showing is that in movies there's a lack of representation.
Yeah.
A gross lack, and you see that in the examples that we discussed. And the question is why. Ultimately, we can theorize why, but we don't know. We just know that it's there, and maybe speaking about it more, making more noise about it, maybe Hollywood might listen. Who
Yeah.
knows? But ultimately, that it'll change anytime soon.
I mean, I think that Wonder Woman was a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially since it was as successful as it was, man. Like, I feel like we're definitely going in the right way. But,
Patty Jenkins.
It's gonna take some time. Yeah.
Representation. She hadn't directed a movie since Monster. Oscar award winning movie,
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
way. Oscar award nominated. I don't know if it won, but Oscar nominated movie. And she didn't get a movie to direct until Wonder Woman.
And that brings us to another point that we spoke about, that, when you don't have representation in the movie, another thing that it does is that it takes opportunity away from the actors.
It does.
If you're, I know Viola Davis has spoken about that multiple times, where, like, she doesn't get certain roles because she's an African-American woman, even
Yeah.
though she's an Oscar caliber actress.
Listen, man, I think there is obviously an issue here, but what do you guys think? Obviously, we think that. Some of you guys might agree. Some of you guys might think we're just making this a race war. We're not.
Yeah.
We're just saying we love movies, and movies don't have to always be about Caucasian-centered stories. There are a lot of people on this planet with a lot of cool stories that we can tell. Let's trust it, especially the original source material with things like Death Note and Gods of Egypt. It would have been so much cooler if you would have left that in its original, I guess, in its original setting. Like, we don't need to switch things up all the time.
Yeah.
But that's us. Maybe we're crazy. Maybe we're just two fools theorizing. But what do you guys think? As always, if you have any questions, you can send us in the email right here, scenicviewsmovienews@gmail.com. Again, scenicviewsmovienews@gmail.com. Like, comment. Thank you guys so much for participating in the conversation so far.
We forgot the most important part, sir.
subscribe. And tell your mom, your dad, your uncles, dads,
your cousin,
send it to
grandpa,
everybody.
grandma,
Share it
every
with your
single person you
friends. But listen, more importantly, continue to engage, because the more you engage, the more we can grow. And we're loving every minute of it. We're in the chat boards. We're in the messages. We're in the emails. We're
We're
discussing
right
all
now
these
trying
things.
to figure out a clever way to get you guys involved with the comments and everything. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, and even some prank wars.
Yeah.
Not even prank wars, but like if Bet's losing, we're gonna have to
please.
live stream one of us doing the what's the consequence.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think? Let us know. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we can't do it without you guys. So thank you guys so much. And until next time,
Y'all be easy.